Hello guys, and it's Genius File Studios today with another video. Today we'll be starting a new category of stuff, random things in this, and we'll be talking about biology. This is what the category is about. And for the first video, we'll be talking about biology, the anatomy of the cells by Genius File Studio. Before we continue and start wondering about this new portion of Genius File Studio, I hope you subscribe, press like and share button for more videos, and press the bell icon that can alert you for more videos by Genius File Studio. So some main portions of cells, there are two main categories of cells for beginners if you want to learn about cells. There's eukaryotic cells and there's prokaryotic cells. So we have eukaryotic cells here and we have prokaryotic cells. So their names are complex. I get it. So U is pronounced like the letter U. Care is pronounced as care, like I care for you. You care. Ya is like Y and A. Tick. Eukaryotic, like a tick. Annoying little bugs. Tick. So you can pause the video, and if you need to pronounce this over and over again to get this into your head, you're free to do so. Next, we'll be talking about prokaryotic cells, how to pronounce that. Prokaryotic cells, pretty basic. You know what pro is. Karyotic. So prokaryotic only has this pro in front, and eukaryotic has this U. But you'll be wondering, what's the difference between prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells? Like, these names are so complex, and it's really hard to understand. And because they're so hard to understand, there must be a really big reason for why both of these have different names. Well, we'll be talking about this in this video. So it's pretty simple to understand why a eukaryotic cell is a eukaryotic. So we'll be talking about the similarities and differences between eukaryotic cells and prokaryotic cells. So prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells have a really big difference, but the main way it is written is pretty basic. It's easy to understand. So eukaryotic cells make up multicellular organisms. So multicellular organisms, that's another complex name if you don't understand Greek and Latin prefixes. So multi means a lot. So lots of cells in an organism. So eukaryotic cells usually make organisms that are made up of thousands, millions, billions, or even trillions of cells. And this includes humans. An average human has at least 30 trillion cells. Can you believe it? That's how tiny they are. And for an easy understanding, if you were to get one hair and make a tenth of it, like if I would expand the hair in a microscope, and if I were to make it into a tenth, it seems I can't make it because the ink is too big anyways, but it would be 1/10 the size. The diameter of a hair is the size of one cell. So no wonder there's more than 1 trillion cells in our body. Then we have eukaryotic cells can also make unicellular organisms. So if you know what uni means, like unicorn, unicellular organism, uni means one. So you can pause the video and think about that, but I'll just say that unicellular organisms are organisms, which are made up of one cell. So for example, some bacteria are included into unicellular organisms. And before we continue about this even more, now we'll talk about prokaryotic cells. Prokaryotic cells can only make unicellular organisms. In this category, there are only unicellular organisms. There are no multicellular organisms. So viruses are included in prokaryotic cells. Viruses. Then if you if you look in the part 2 of this video, you will learn more about what I'm going to talk about to you right now, and that'll come up too, so I hope you watch that. Then we'll be talking more deeper about the cell, like inside the cell. So for eukaryotic cells have a nucleus. And like how I told you, you can look at the second part for this, the nucleus. Yeah, it's really bad. Let me fix it. So eukaryotic cells have they have a nucleus, and prokaryotic cells do not have a nucleus. A nucleus technically is an organelle or an organelle. I'll review that term. Organelle means an organ. If you were to separate the word from here, there's organ and then there's L. So L sounds like cell, and then organ is organ. So organ cell. So this, based on this, if you can pause the video and think more about this, but an organelle means the organs of a cell. So you just have to add of. So organelle of a cell, organ of a cell. So that's what a nucleus. Nucleus is pretty much the brain of the cell, of a eukaryotic cell. And it's kind of like what protects the genetics, the chromosomes, and the DNA inside the cell. However, a prokaryotic cell has no nucleus. I'll just write no nuke. It's shorter terms, so it saves time. No nuke, it just has exposed chromosomes, exposed DNA. So it's exposed and it's not protected by a nuclear membrane. That's what a eukaryotic cell and a prokaryotic cell is separated by the nucleus or the brain, the genetics of the cells. And finally, eukaryotic cells, we'll talk more about this in the next part 2. But I'll just say that, briefly, that eukaryotic cells have more organelles that make eukaryotic cells more complex, and um, and it helps it live longer in a way. When prokaryotic cells have less organelles, so it's not that complex, and um, it makes it have more weaknesses and works less as a machine. So next we'll be talking about the actual anatomy, the organelles, and how the main functions of those organelles in a cell. So that will be in the next video.